Hello, I'm Dave Higginson Jr. with Creative Music and the Professional Chord System. In this video, I will demonstrate how to play the song When I Fall in Love. When I fall in love, it will be forever, or I'll never fall in love. In a restless world like this love is ended before it's begun, and too many moonlight kisses seem to cool in the warmth of the sun. Alright, with the song When I Fall in Love, I wanted to teach a couple of different principles. The first principle is, how do we voice the chord? Voicing the chord means, how do we play the chord pattern? Now that's actually answered very simply. It's what sounds the best. So, to determine what sounds the best, let's start off with just playing the basic 6-note chord, pattern number 1, and we'll see how that sounds. So, we put this behind our keys. The very first chord of the song is a C major 7th. So to play C major 7th, again, following the pattern, that's a C chord. To make it into a major 7th, we know the rule, which is we move the top note in our right hand and our left down one key. Alright, that's a C major 7th chord. Now let's listen to how that sounds. When I fall in love. That's okay, but I wonder if we could make it sound a little bit better, a little more richer. One way to accomplish that is to spread the chord out a little more and perhaps play it a little bit lower. Now we know, again, that these are the notes of the C major 7th chord, and we can of course shift that down to the left if we want. So let's go ahead and do that now. Let's shift it down a little bit and even shift it all the way down to there. That's a little bit better, but let's go down just a little bit more. So get rid of our top note on our right hand and put it down there. When I fall in love. That's a little bit better. Can you see how the potential we have to make a song sound good based upon how we voice the chord? Alright, another principle I'd like to teach is how chords feel and how they can sometimes feel similar to another chord, and that will help us to learn the chords. As we've already discussed, we're playing patterns of notes. And in a pattern, you can get to know and get to feel the pattern in your hands, and that will help you learn the pattern. Now, a C major 7th chord, the way we're playing it in this song is like this. The third chord of this song is the D minor 7th, a completely different chord, and yet, believe it or not, it feels identical to the C major 7. So if you see my hands here, if I just like a robot move them up, that happens to be a D minor 7th. Now, that's not how you initially play the chord. When you first figure it out, you don't automatically know that. But as you learn to voice the chords first, then as you get to recognize the fact that some chords feel identical to another chord, that will help you actually learn the chords of that song. Eventually, in the future, when you play another song with a D minor 7th in it, you'll actually feel that before you even play the chord, if you're playing it in a spread chord fashion like this. And so actually what will happen sometimes is you'll see, in this case, a D minor 7th chord, and my fingers automatically go in that pattern before I even press them down on the keyboard. And I also know that it feels identical to a C major 7th too, played in the spread chord fashion. Now, that's one way to play a spread chord. Another way is this. With the Professional Chord System, we actually have the spread chord on one of those patterns. It happens to be pattern number 4. So we can put that on our keyboard. In this case, we'll put it in the C below, way below middle C, all the way down here. And following as indicated on the pattern itself, that's the C major chord. To make it into a C major 7th chord, the rule for a spread chord is we move our middle finger down one key to here. Now I like to add one extra note up top to make it sound even better. So you see how we came to the same conclusion, whether we took it a regular pattern number 1 chord down to a spread, or whether we started right off from a spread chord. Either way, the Professional Chord System will teach you how to do that in a very simple way. Another principle I'd like to teach is the principle of how you begin a song. Most songs, if they don't indicate an introduction, you can create your own introduction simply by playing the second to the last chord of the song. In this song, When I Fall in Love, the second to the last chord happens to be a G7th. And coincidentally, a 7th chord is very commonly an introductory chord to almost any song. So here is the introduction to this song. When I fall in love. You see how that works? Another principle I'd like to teach is the principle of going from one chord to the next. Now, sometimes there'll be different and difficult chord transitions where going from one chord to the next might be more difficult than others. Here's one in this song. It's the chord between a C major 7th and an F sharp 7th with a flat 5 chord. Again, this is our C major 7th, and then the F sharp 7th with a flat 5 happens to be this. That can be a difficult transition. It's not an easy transition to make. So what we recommend in the Professional Chord System is you practice that transition over and over. After you've done that a number of times, you'll get it to where it will be second nature. All right, one last thing I'll mention is this. It's interesting to know that sometimes in determining the key of a song, it just usually happens to be the very last chord of the song. That's just a little trick that a lot of professionals will use. The very last chord of this song happens to be, again, a C major 7th, and the chord of the song, again, being a C, that happens to be the key of the song, the key of C, where there are no sharps and flats. I've enjoyed presenting this lesson to you about how to play When I Fall in Love. For more information, please refer to our website at pianostar.com.